Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Eid Mubarak on the occasion of 15 of Shaban, the birthday of our 12th Imam, Mahdi alayhi salatu wassalam. What I consider to have been a guidance from the Imam to me and the other prisoners of Abu-Ghraib when I was Saddam's prisoner, along with more than 1,000 other political prisoners, Islamic political prisoners. And as I was planning my escape from Abu-Ghraib, I decided to take with me the names of all the other prisoners, enabled to work on trying to get them released from there. So I succeeded to escape. That's a long story by itself. And then I went to the Islamic Republic of Iran and got in contact with Mr. van der Stoel, the ex-foreign minister of the Netherlands, who had been appointed at that time as the special rapporteur for human rights in Iraq by the UN. So he was working on UN violations, on human rights violations by Saddam's regime. And I got in touch with him and gave him the name of all the prisoners. And he started working with Saddam's regime, asking about these political prisoners. Saddam decided then to release all these prisoners and take Mr. van der Stoel to Abu Ghraib to show him that there are no political prisoners and all what the reports that have been received are not true. So van der Stoel went to Abu Ghraib with Tariq Aziz, who was the foreign minister of Saddam. And sure enough, they did not find the prisoners, and all the cells have been freshly painted. And he left Iraq to Jordan, and from Jordan he contacted the UNHCR office in Tehran and asked them to arrange an appointment with me. And I was called by the UNHCR office in Tehran, and an appointment was made for next day at 7 o'clock in the morning, because van der Stoel had to fly into Tehran and go to the refugee camps, to the Iraqi refugee camps in Ahwaz and other places in the south. At about 2 o'clock after midnight, the same night that I was going to meet him, early next morning, I received a call. At that time, we didn't have any mobiles. It was a landline. And the person on the line tells me he is so-and-so, one of the prisoners at Abu Ghraib. And I told him, well, where are you? He said, we were all released a couple of days ago. And I managed to leave Iraq through the north, across the border into Iran. And I'm right now, after midnight, I reached in Mariwan, an Iranian border town. And he said, I was wanting to get in touch with you because I don't know anybody in Iran. And as I was walking around alone in this small town, I saw a man. He said, do you need any help? And I asked him, I want to get in touch with Hussain-Al-Shahristani. He said, okay, this is his telephone number, you can call him. He said, I didn't know how to call you. So he took me somewhere and gave me a line. And he said, you can call him. And this is how I'm calling you at 12 o'clock after midnight. I said, have you all been released? He said, no. 14 of us were moved to some other cells. They are not kept at the same closed section as we were. And he gave me the name of the 14, and he said, Muhammad Tabatabai, one of the religious scholars from Karbala who has been in prison with us, has not been released with others. So next day when I went at 7 o'clock in the morning to see van der Stoel, and he said, I have good news for you, very important news. I said, what? And he said, based on your drawing of the prison and the cells where the political prisoners were kept, I went there a couple of days ago, and there were no prisoners left. Saddam had released them all. He knew that they have been released and so on. I told him, yes, but he kept 14 prisoners, and he moved them just before he went there. And I gave him the name of Mr. Muhammad Tabatabai. He looked at me, he said, even the most efficient intelligence service in the world cannot get this information out of Baghdad, out of Abu-Ghraib prison under Saddam's control so quickly. How do you know? And I told him, a prisoner just called me last night at 2 o'clock after midnight and gave me this information. And I really believe, so did my other fellow prisoners, that this was really a help from Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salatu wassalam to help me to get the prisoners, the Islamic prisoners released from Abu Ghraib. So this is my story. Thank you.